You set your pencil down. You are 14 years old and you have already finished the test. The classroom smells of pencil shavings and floor wax. You look up. Around you, 30 other pencils are still scratching at paper. A hand slams down on your desk. Mr. Dolan is standing over you, your test in his hand. Every other page in the room has red marks on it. Yours has none. He does not move on to the next desk.
Where did you learn to do this?
You shrug. You didn't learn it anywhere. You looked at the page and the answers were already sitting there, the way a word is there the second someone says it. By Friday, your name is on a list. A woman from the district drives 40 minutes to give you a different test, alone, with a stopwatch on the table. Halfway through, she stops writing and watches your pencil. The test is built so no student reaches the last page. You reach it with 11 minutes to spare. From the hallway, she makes a call. Through the glass, you read her lips. One word: impossible. By the end of the week, the principal walks you through the halls like a prize, and the local paper photographs you at the chalkboard, your face beside your age, and a number meant to stand in for your mind. You have turned into something people look at, and not one of them asks what you want. 2 weeks later, the locker room. A boy named Travis decides you are a problem. He is bigger than you by a head. He knocks your books into the puddle by the bus loop and waits for you after gym. You are 14 and small. He is 16 and mean. You cannot outthink a fist, so you start flinching, and you learn the long way home. At home, it changes too. At dinner, your father slides a brochure across the table, a summer program, the form already half filled in his handwriting, the calendar open beside him. They ask which competition you would rather win, not whether you want to go. You wanted to learn to skateboard that summer. You spend it in hotel conference rooms instead. You stop telling them what you want, because what you want is never on the schedule. Worse than the shoving and the schedule is lunch. You carry your tray to a table where 3 kids sit, and the talking stops. One of them slides his bag onto the empty end of the bench, so there is no room. You eat standing by the window. Halfway through, a boy you have never spoken to appears at your elbow with a worksheet and asks for the answers. You give them. He walks off without your name. So the next day, you do not wait to be asked. You find the table with the open seat and you offer their homework. All of it. Done by morning. If there is room on the bench, it works. You buy your way in one assignment at a time. You know exactly what it is. A seat rented and never owned, and you do it all the same, because useful is the one thing they will trade a place for. They will take what is in your head. They will not keep you unless you keep paying. You start carrying a notebook everywhere, and you fill it with a shorthand you make up, small and tight, so that no one can read it over your shoulder. It is the one place that is only yours. Then, one day, someone sits down across from you at that quiet table. Her name is Hannah.
Everyone says you're a genius. You look bored to me.
She does not want your homework. She does not want anything. She has a paperback bent open in one hand, and when you tell her how the story ends before she gets there, she does not get angry. She argues that the ending you called is the boring one, that a real writer would break the pattern on purpose to make a reader feel something they did not see coming. You have no answer for that. For the first time, someone has handed you a thing you could not predict. The next day, she sits down again. And the day after that, she argues with you about everything. Movies, whether people are mostly good, where to eat. She never once talks to you like you are a calculator. For the rest of school, she is the reason you keep showing up. One afternoon, she asks you something you cannot solve.
Do you ever not know something and let it stay that way?
You don't answer her, but you write the question down in the notebook, and you keep it. After graduation, the offers come from people who build the things colleges only write about. One flies you to a hangar in the desert, where a private company is building the rocket meant to take people off this planet for good. They do not ask for your degree. They hand you the problem their best engineers have been stuck on for 2 years, and you find the answer they kept walking past. The man who owned that problem does not look at you again. Within a year, your name is on the guidance system that puts their rocket into orbit, and the launch plays on every screen in the country. The engineers around you are the best on the planet, and within a month, they stop talking when you walk in. Not out of respect, you have already finished their sentences in your head, and they have felt it. You have never been further from anyone. And the cameras remember you. The boy from the local paper is grown now and standing under a rocket. They run the old photo beside the new one. A reporter waits in your parking space. Another calls your mother. They want the genius who builds the future, and they do not stop wanting it. You change your number. They find the new one. You stop opening the door for anyone you cannot name. One morning, a van with a dish on the roof is parked outside your building, and a woman with a microphone has learned your routine, the side door, the hour you leave, the coffee you order. She asks, on camera, whether a mind like yours feels anything at all. You do not answer. The clip runs regardless 11 million views by the weekend. Your face frozen mid-step under a headline that asks whether you are even a person. A launch is set for a Tuesday. You run the numbers on a seal in the booster and they come back wrong a crack 3 layers down that no one looked for. Because the easy answer held. You bring it to the room. 11 engineers with letters after their names, and a launch director who has staked everything on the date. They hear you out. Then they vote to fly.
You don't understand the hardware.
The director says it, and the room agrees with him. You lose 11-1. On launch day, you stand at the back of the control room and watch the count fall. 10, 9, 8. The director will not look at you. The engines light and the rocket climbs, clean and perfect. And for 90 seconds, you let yourself believe you were wrong. You were not wrong. The seal lets go exactly where you drew it. The screen fills with white. There is no one on board, and there is no one to thank you either. They look at you the way the kids at the lunch table once did. Being right did not make them grateful. It made them want you gone. The report calls it a process failure. Your name is not in it. You could prove you called it to the day, but you did that once, in a room that laughed. And being right cost you more than being wrong ever has. So you let the credit settle on the men who voted you down. You stop explaining, and you write it in the notebook instead. That week, you get home past a wall of cameras and microphones. The same question shouted over and over how a rocket like that could fail. You give them nothing. You lock the door behind you. Your sister Dana calls on a Sunday. She does not want anything.
There's a bird that keeps hitting my kitchen window, same one every morning, I swear.
For 9 minutes, you do not see a single pattern. Then she asks how work is, and you hear yourself answer in words you have used before, and you understand you could say the rest of the call for both of you. The gap is not between you and strangers anymore. It is between you and everyone. 6 months later, you are in the control room for a crewed flight, 3 people strapped in, a launch the whole country is watching. In the second sentence of the briefing, you see it. A flaw in the life support line that no one ran the numbers on twice. You know exactly what it will do. You open your mouth. Then you remember the 11 votes. The laugh in the room. The director who would not look at you. The headline that asked whether you were even a person. You were right last time, and right is the thing they punished you for. So you weigh your own place against 3 strangers, and you let your place win. You do not dare. You close your mouth. You say nothing. The count falls. The rocket clears the tower and climbs. Then, 112 seconds up, the line you saw in your head gives way. The room falls silent. On the screen, there is nothing left to track. 3 names. Nobody around you knows you saw it coming. You sit with your hands flat on the desk, and you do not move. 2 years in, Sam, your oldest friend, meets you for dinner. He is in the middle of a story about the company he has poured 3 years into when you see the flaw in his second sentence and you tell him, "You are right, the way you are always right," and the table goes quiet. He puts cash down for his half and leaves before the food comes. You were trying to save him a year of his life. You were also showing him you could see the end of his story before he could. Those turned out to be the same thing. But here's the thing. You are not doing anything to these people. You only see what is already there, the crack in the seal, the flaw in his company, the reason Travis singled you out by the bus loop. None of it is invented. You look harder than other people will, and you tell yourself the quiet is the fair price of seeing clearly. By 30, you run every conversation 3 steps ahead. The joke, the compliment, the lie, all landing a beat after you have already heard them coming. Until there is nothing a voice can offer you worth lifting the phone for. You buy a high floor where the elevator needs a key, and you fill notebook after notebook in a code only you can read. You used to be the boy nobody could reach. Now, you are the man nobody can reach. You have not called Hannah in 3 years. You never did learn to skateboard. Then the blame finds a name, and the name is yours. You were in the room. You saw the line give way before it did, and you said nothing, and the only way to clear yourself now is to admit exactly that. So, you say nothing again. The cage was never the votes or the cameras or the men who wrote you out. It was the door you closed yourself, every time you decided the world had not earned the truth in your head. There are cameras at your gate, and the warning you never gave sits in a notebook on your shelf, in a language no one else will ever read. A fist knocks 3 times. The cameras are still outside, but the knock is not them. It is Hannah, gray in her hair now, a question on her face, the kind that used to stop you cold. You open the door. Before she says a word, you read her shoulders, the ring on her hand, the sentence forming behind her eyes. So you say it for her.
You came to ask if I'm all right?
She closes her mouth. That was the line. The one person who ever surprised you, standing close enough to touch, and you finally got good enough to see straight through her too. You gave the greatest mind on earth to everyone who asked, and kept none of it for yourself. You can read any person alive, and you are the only one no one is left to read. If you want to see more stories like this one, check out our last video where you become the biggest insurance scammer in the country. Click on it, and we'll see you in the next one.